Dear students, let's continue our topic Poets and Pancakes, written by Ashoka Mitra. Ashoka Mitra worked at Jimny Studio, Madras. Nowadays we call it Chennai, and he was performing an insignificant function there. But he was the most well informed of all the members of the Jimny family, and that's why he has written a book, My Years with Boss. And this is the excerpt from his book, My Years with Boss. And in this excerpt, gives us the detailed information about the Jimny Studio or a particular department he worked, that was called the makeup department. According to him, truckloads of material, makeup material was bought there, and that had the branded name as a pancake rather. He worked there. According to him, there was so many buildings, and this department was upstairs and of a building that was believed to have been Robert Clive's stables. So to him, he worked. To him, this department has many people, they were working there. So but there was a hierarchy, there was a ranking, means there was the chief makeup man, and there was his senior assistant, there was a junior assistant, and so it was the job of chief makeup man, that he would do the makeup of the main or lead roles, or chief characters, chief actors and actress. And then there was the senior assistant who would do the next to these chief characters. Next to them, he would make up them. And then there was junior assistant, he would do the main comedian and other characters in the film, he would make up them. And sometimes there were the crowd players, played crowds, they played some scene there, and they have to be they had to be made up or made up. And for that purpose, there was an office boy, he would do that job, he would paint them rather. So this is all about what we called this um, makeup makeup department. And now he tells something about this. He tells, well, he had been working in a cubicle, a small partitioned off area of a room, and that had the French windows. He would do there. He was doing some odd job or some insignificant job of collecting the paper cuttings. And sometimes this office boy would just barge into that room, walk into a room quietly, or without being barge means to walk into a room quite quickly, and without being invited. So he would come and he would deliver extended lectures there about the department, about this man. So the author said, well, I was praying for crowd shooting all the time, that so that this man could be engaged in his work, rather than coming his room and giving lectures and all that. And besides that, he was a bit poet, and he would give him he would recite his poetry, epics or longer poetry, and he would get bored, and that's why all the time he prayed that he would be engaged in his job. Besides this, he says, well, this man had come, he was no more a boy, but he was in his 40s. So he had come there with the aim to become an actor, star actor, or a top screenwriter, or a director, or a lyricist. But he was a bit quiet also, but he became office a boy. And now let's start today's lecture. It is in all, it is at the page number 59. last paragraph. In all instances of frustration, you will always find the anger directed towards a single person or covertly. And this man openly or cowardly, and this man of the makeup department was convinced that all his woes, ignominy, and neglect were due to Kathamangalam Subbu. Means in the all the moments of frustration, when somebody is frustrated, and he would always direct his anger openly or covertly, overtly or covertly, openly or hiddenly towards some person. And this man means this office bearer would direct his anger, or all his woes, worries, or ignominy that he faced, public shame or disgrace, whatever he faced, and whatever neglect he faced, he directed towards one person that was called a Kathamangalam Subbu. Subbu was the number two at Gemini Studio, means such was his rank. He was at number two. He could not have had more encouraging opening in films than our grown-up makeup boy had. In compared to this office boy or makeup boy, Subbu had not an encouraging opening. Means he was not lucky enough as far as the getting the job in films was concerned. On the contrary, he must have had to face more uncertain and difficult. And contrary to that man, that he had to face a lot of uncertainty. He has faced a lot of difficulties. For why? For when he began his career, he because he started, there were no firms, firmly established film producing companies were not there. Film producing companies or studios were not there. That's why this man was not lucky enough at the inception of his career. Even in the matter of education, especially formal education, and as far as the formal education was concerned, he was not lucky in that case also. He was unlucky in that case also. But by virtue of being born a Brahmin, so, but one thing was a plus point for him. He was born Brahmin, and that was virtue. That was good thing for him indeed. He must have had exposure to more affluent situations and peoples, and that's why he got the exposure to more affluent situations, or the people having a great deal of money. It means affluent means have a great deal of money, and he had the opportunity to work with those people, or to work in such situations. He had the ability to look cheerful cheerful at all times. But all the time he was happy, he was cheerful, he was pleasant in his mood. He had a pleasant mood. Even after having had a hand in a flop film, although he was the part of a flop film, but still he would be cheerful. He always had a work for somebody. He always offered the work for somebody. Why? Because he could never do things on his own. This was he would not do the work on his own, and he would offer this work for others. But his sense of loyalty made him identify himself with his principal. But he was loyal to his principal, means his boss, completely, and turn his entire creativity to his principal's advantage. So whatever creativity he had, he would turn it for the benefit of for the advantage of his boss. He was tailor made. Tailor made means he suited for films, to films he suited. Then he suited to films. Here was a man who could be inspired when commanded. He was such a man that he could be inspired. He could be encouraged when he was commanded to do so, then he could do. The rat fights the tigress underwater and kills her, but takes pity on the cubs and tends them lovingly. I don't know how to do the scene. The producer would say that they are is a rat fight that there is a rat that fights a tigress and kills the tigress, but takes pity on her cubs lovingly, tends them lovingly, looks after them lovingly. But the producer, well, I don't know how to do this scene. Then what happens? Subu will come out with four ways of the rat pouring affection on this victim's offspring. So he would give the four options. Well, there are so many options. Four options are there that you can show how a rat pours affection and love to the victim's offspring, her cubs. Good, but I am not sure it's effective enough. But the producer is not satisfied with this option. The producer would say, and in a minute, Subbu would come out with 14 more alternate. But in the meanwhile, Subbu would give so many options. Okay, there are so many things you can use them to get the scene. Filmmaking must have been and was so easy with a man like Subbu around. And if ever there was a man who gave direction and definition to gymnastic during its golden years. So means that it was very easy when this man was around Subu because he had a lot of knowledge about the things. So it was not difficult for the director as produced to get the definition and other things from this man. It was Subu. Subu had a separate identity as a poet, and though he was certainly capable of more complex and higher forms, he deliberately chose to address his poetry to the masses. Subu was has a separate identity as a poet. Means he was also a poet. He certainly was capable of more complex and higher forms of the things, but he would choose to address the common masses rather than the other people. Uh, his success in films, uh, success his success in films overshadowed and dwarfed his literary achievement because he was successful in film, that overshadowed his literary achievements, and that was lessened and made less by his achievement, this literary achievements whatever there were. Oh, so his critics felt, at least his critics felt that, and he supposed several truly original story poems. He's composed rather, sorry, he composed several truly original story. He wrote poems in folk refrain and diction, and also wrote a sprawling, means separate or big, that was separate one big novel, Thelana Manambal, with dozens of very deftly etched. Deftly etched means it is made in a clever way. Deftly means in a clever way. Etched means made. They were made in a clever way. These characters are written. He quite successfully recreated the mood and manner of the Devdasis of the early 20th centuries. Devdasis successfully he created their characters of Devdasis and their mood as well in his writings. He was an amazing actor. Besides his writer, he was an amazing and surprising, wonderful writer. He never aspired to the, he never hoped, he never had the ambition to the lead roles, to do lead roles, to do main role. But whatever subsidiary, the supplementary or secondary role he played in any of the films, he performed better than the supposed main players would play, but he would perform better than those players. He had a genuine love for anyone he came across, and his house was a permanent residence for dozens of near and far relations and acquaintances. He had genuine love for anyone. For anyone he came across, whom he met, whom he had some acquaintance, he had genuine love for them. That's why his home house was full of relation, near and far relation, or any acquaintance, that they would sit easily there. It seemed against Subbu's nature to be even conscious, but he was not conscious of whatever the good he did to his to other people. That he was feeding, and he was supporting so many of them. It was contrary to his nature, that he was not conscious of these things, that he would do these things to others. Such a charitable and improvident man, he was such a charity. He would do the charity to others. He would help the others. Improvident he was doing all these things, and yet he had enemies. Though he was doing so charitable things, so good things, but yet he has them. Why? Was it because he seemed so close and intimate with the boss? This is the question rises like this. Or was it his general demeanor, means behavior, that resembled a sycophant? Who sycophant means one who self-seeking flatterer. Was it because of that? Sycophant, or his readiness so to say nice things about everything, but or is it because, was it because that he was ready to help others, or to, sorry, to ready to say nice things or good things about everything, means he would not find the faults in others? Was it because of that? In any, sorry, in any case, there was this man in the makeup department who would wish the direst things for Sobu. But there was the man, that was the office boy, who would always wish direst, means the things with the extreme serious things for this for Sobu. So I think this is do for today. Let's conclude today's lecture. Khuda Hafiz.